The reason the top is on the interpretation of the word of fund, college, and universities. Our interpretation is schools do not equal the clubs inside the college and universities. The violation is the fact that they are funding club inside of university. They are funding the debate club or the debate team, debate society, however they see fit. They are changing a club inside the university. They are not funding the entire university, but instead of a specific club. So that is their violation because they parametricize the round to just debate clubs. They are not resolutional for this reason. The standards under this, number one, is debatability. The debatability was how to fund college and universities as a whole. The second standard here is diction. The reason why when you look at dictions, it says fund, college, and universities. So when you look at the resolution, it says better fund, college, and universities. It doesn't say better fund, college, and university programs. If it had something like that, then it would grant you ground to do clubs such as debate programs, debate teams, or football teams, any it said biology, chemistry, any other clubs inside that. But it said fund, college, and universities. So because of the diction of the entire resolution, you have to look at how it's portrayed. They parametricize beyond it, so that makes them unresolutional. For that reason, they buy this topicality. The voters under this is one, this is an a priori issue. Topicality is a priori issue, and you'll be voting here first. Because of this, they've greatly infringed on our ground. That's our second voter, is ground loss for this. Because they've now parametricized the debate ground into such a small scope that we're looking at debate teams as a whole under a small transportation of money from specific places, it completely reduces our ground as a whole. Our third voter is loss of education, because instead of talking about how you can fund universities as a whole, how the benefits and the disadvantages of funding universities as a whole, we're not getting that. We're in such a small window. We are losing education on this round. Let's move on to our second off-case argument, which is a significance fact. This is essentially going to go off of our T. Our interpretation is the red says colleges and universities. The violation is they're just doing debate. They're doing one program inside universities. Universities run multiple programs, multiple clubs that affect multiple students. Not everyone is interested in debate. Yes, I know we all are, and that's why we're here today. But classmates, peers that are like, you know what, that's cool that you do it, but I could never do that. They're interested in other things. Student government associations, athletic clubs, intramurals, honor societies. Those are different organizations that different students are going into. They're just doing debate. That affects such a small and rare, however unique community, but it's still just a small community, and so it's not significant. They fail to meet significance. Number one standards, this is our standards, number one is the stock issue. In order to have solvency, to have a full policy round, you must meet the stock issues, and one of the stock issues is significance. However, they do not have significance in this case. Number two is the government burden. It's the government's burden to provide the stock issues, but because they don't provide significance in the round, they in fact just went straight into their advantages and their plan. They didn't even tell you why it's significant to improve the debate clubs overall. They never told you why we should. So they don't do this. Number three is debatability. Now we can't debate about significance because they don't provide significant analysis on why we should be reallocating for the debate programs. Number four is this is another ground loss issue. This is more ground taken from us because we're not being able to talk about this. Our voters under this, again, is the loss of education, and two is fairness for this reason, because they've taken away the significance. They've made it such a small thing. It's completely unfair to narrow our ground loss to such a thing. You're going to be voting on the fairnesses there as well. Moving on to our third off-case argument is our disadvantage. Is called FAFSA broken. The uniqueness currently in order to attend colleges, students fill out a FAFSA form to see if they can qualify for money from the government to be able to attend college. However, 1 in 7 FAFSA forms are returned unapproved for reasons either they didn't fill it out right, things didn't go through, they didn't get all the information. However, the link under this is their plan doesn't actually fix FAFSA, so more kids are not going to be able to go to school. The brink under this is that more kids don't go to school because they can't understand FAFSA. FAFSA is broken. It didn't fix the tool to help kids get to college. So because of this, they don't gain the solvency that they're asking. They're saying more kids are going to be affected by their plan through their solvency. However, the brink is because more kids that haven't fixed the tool how to get to college, those kids that they said they're going to be able to impact won't even reach it. They talked about the Urban League debate. Those kids, that's cool, the Urban League, now they want to go to college. Well, their FAFSA, the tool that they get there, is broken, so they can't even take those tools to go to college, so they lose significant impact other advantages because of this. The more impacts than this is because FAFSA was broken, we see a decrease in 2.25% of enrollment rates to tech schools. You see a decrease in 7% to state universities and 40% of private schools. Their plan is not fixing it, so these large number of students who aren't going to college, those kids won't be able to garner the effects or the advantages and impacts that they're claiming in their plan. So because they can't garner this, they're losing out on those students because they never even fixed the problem to begin with of how to get to college and use those impacts that they're claiming for. So let's move on to on-case. Now they essentially said under the idea of their plan is essentially going to reallocate to debate, just debate from natural gas and production grants. I'm going to talk about the gas part, I guess, to their advantage about when they start talking about oil, so I'll get to there on that. However, the idea said that the Department of Education was going to be able to do this, however, when you look at the current situation, sequestration just passed yesterday. We've already seen large budget cuts to many budgets across the board. So when you see cuts, the education's already been significantly cut, the budget's already been significantly cut. So now you're going to take away from production companies or from grants from students, professors who are living off these grants at these universities. You're taking away their money, which essentially is you're taking away their jobs because now they're not going to be able to work in those oil fields or on their oil grants. Next idea was their idea of net bins. We'll go ahead and agree to net bins as the weighing mechanism because we'll show you throughout the rounds the different advantages versus disadvantages. Let's move on to their advantages. I'm actually going to go to advantage number 2, which is the idea set on, I guess, the oil. That's what I floated on. Schools who get oil for oil development, and it forces society to overlook into other places. However, when you take education from a program, they talked about check backs and how the oil and said, he said, she said, and arguing about it. That's the only way we can check back that stuff is when we go to universities and they say, hey, well, no, this oil is actually dangerous. Without those students studying that, the oil companies will be able to lie to us and we won't be able to check it back. They will say it's great and we won't be able to have the universities because they're taking away from those programs to tell us that that oil is bad or that the technology is bad. So when you take away our check back, we're actually going to increase the problem. This is a turn against them and a turn against their solvency for that reason is the fact that you're going to increase these oil companies being able to get away without being checked back to make sure their technology is bad because the only people who are studying this, they're taking away the money from these people who are studying this and the teachers who are instructing their students how to do this by taking away these grants from the oil and natural gas production grants. Let's move back to their first advantage and the idea that debate goes through drastically. You need to cross-apply my analysis and the idea of significance of who this actually affects. It's such a small, unique population of people inside of a school. I've never been to a school, many debate tournaments that anyone's had more than maybe a few percent, maybe not even more than 1% of their schools actually on the debate team. So the fact that they can actually say this is going to affect a ton of people is completely false. So cross-apply significance here. So this impact that they're gaining of increasing the critical thinking, they're affecting such a small population when they could have affected a bigger one. This impact is not that large and does not have a large impact calculus at the end of the round. It is greatly diminished for that reason. And as far as our DA of FAFSA, kids not even being able to go to 47 and